Celtic fans all around the world are sitting waiting, anticipating. They're a bit like new parents. Do you remember back in the day before we had cameras that could watch your kids as they grow up and everything, before social media and all this nonsense? Remember back in the day that when the kids went to sleep, you took them up the stairs when you're a brand new parent for the very first time, and you put the baby to bed in the cot, and then you let it fall asleep, and then you go up 10 minutes later, putting your head down just to make sure the little fucker's still breathing. And then you're watching the little chest go up and down and it's breathing fine. And you do that quite a lot as a new parent. Back in the day, now these days they've got monitors that they just plug into their phone, and it's a bit creepy. But anyway, that's what Celtic fans are like, sitting waiting on information and nothing's coming. Nothing at all. We just sit. And we switch on the computer, we switch on our phones first thing in the morning, and you see me. Yes, good morning, welcome to the channel. Good morning, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Make sure that you give the video a thumbs up. Oh, got a bit shaky there. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the subscriber account's kind of stalled a bit. So we are trying to get up to the 20,000. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. It is completely free. Anyway, we move on. Let's get some Celtic news, Baz. Let's get some Celtic news. Anyway, I will talk about Celtic players that are playing for international teams first of all, before we talk about the Celtic news of the day. And we have to talk about this. And it's one of those and finally moments. Yes, a cheery news story just to get us laughing and rolling about at the end. And you all know what it's going to be about this morning. Anyway, Callum McGregor urges Scotland to stay calm and in control before the crucial Hungary clash. The Celtic and Scotland player, the Celtic captain and the Scotland player, says that the temper, excitement over potentially reaching the last 16 of the Euros, we need to just calm down. The 1-1 draw against Switzerland in Cologne means that Scotland could qualify for the knockout stages for the first time with a win over Hungary on Sunday. The Celtic captain has warned teammates to remain. There remains a lot of work to be done. It's not going to be a walk in the park. Over the next few days, everybody will be buzzing, said Callum McGregor. We just need to stay calm, recover. We have 2 days off recovery, and then we can plan our way into the next game. We need to stay calm. When we arrive, everyone will be desperate for us to get through. We are the same as players. We bring the level of performance and the match, the ambition of the fans. We just need to be consistent on the day. Running, and losing control of the game cannot be the way forward. Hungary have been good in the last 2 games. Physical side that can play as well. We have to recover, and we need to bring the same energy levels and tempo and aggression as we did against Switzerland, says Callum McGregor. Do you think realistically Scotland can finish second? I have said all along, I think the 5-1 gubbin by Germany is the game that's going to put us most in doubt to finish second. I think we will finish third. And I think that there is a possibility that we could still get through finishing third, but we need to score a barrel load of goals, and we need to hope that Germany scores a barrel load of goals against Switzerland. But anyway, we move on from that. Alistair Johnson came up against Messi and co. Must be great playing in the Copa America compared to the Euros, because you get all these fantastic teams from South America. It's a bit more exciting than watching some of the Euro stuff that's watching. Did you watch the game last night? It was quite funny. I walked into a Scottish bar that had been overrun by English, and I walked in at the bar and said, free drink. If Denmark score, boom, 2 seconds later they score. You should have seen the dirty looks I got off some of these Englishmen. It was quality. The missus was like, don't do that again. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We then buggered off to a Spanish place to have some food rather than watch the game. And we never heard a single cheer from them the rest of the night. And then it was obviously apparent that they had drawn the game because they all scarpered away. They all sneaked away. It was funny. Anyway, on that note, back to Alistair Johnson. Alistair Johnson is playing in the Copa America, the opener against Argentina, and they lost 2-0. But Alistair Johnson, known for his defensive solidness, and he seemingly had a good game with his defensive duties. Mind you, that's just different level stuff. Right, let's get on to some Celtic transfer news. There has been a lot of speculation about players coming in and out of Celtic. But as of yet, we're all sitting like this. See if the SPFL come out with the fixtures next Thursday, and if Celtic haven't made any announcement by then, this will be one of the slowest. And I know the Euros is on it, and it's difficult to try and get players if they are playing at the Euros, but it's going to be it's a slow summer for anything, any decent speculation. I mean, we're getting named with every single goalkeeper under the sun, and until Celtic actually make a concrete offer for a goalkeeper, we're all in the dark. Let's face it, we are all in the dark, and Celtic will do their utmost this summer to try and hide the identity of anyone that is coming to Celtic until they have that player in Scotland. Celtic will try their utmost to make sure that we hide the identity of any incoming players. We know the players that we need. I mean, we've been going over it for weeks now, but with only nearly a week to go until Celtic resume pre-season training, as it stands, we're going to start pre-season training with just Scott Bain in goals. Do that hippity day. It's gonna be Jesus. Anyway, let's get on to Norwich and the Adam Ida situation. Now, this one just is going to go on and on because they now think that Adam Ida is. I mean, everyone has thought he was a £3 million player when he came to Celtic. Even they thought he was a £3 million player. But all of a sudden, when you look at the stats, he's actually scored 19 goals last season. That's a pretty prolific goal scorer that's been a sort of part-time player, you know, coming off the bench. The fact that he scored 19 goals across all competitions last season, I mean, I did say that he would hit 10 for Celtic. He was one off it, but it's interesting. It is interesting. But the new manager that's come in, he wants to see Adam Ida. So this situation with Adam Ida is going to drag on a bit. They want to see him in training. Hopefully they're back in training at the same time. Sometimes clubs like that might not be back in training until the second week. Maybe the second week in July. Anyway, we've got a couple of weeks till it's sorted out, and then one way or the other. But do Celtic seriously have a backup plan? This is the question. I mean, if we don't get Adam Ida, what is Celtic's backup plan? Who is the striker that we need to bring in? I mean, as it stands, we need to bring in at least a minimum of one striker. Is there anyone playing in the B team that can be promoted as a sort of backup to bleed into the system? I'm not too sure about that. But anyway, the fact that Adam Ida scored quite a few goals last season. He's a player that we all kind of want at Celtic now. He brings a different dimension to the game compared to Kyogo, and he'll always be remembered for scoring that goal in the Scottish Cup final. Anyway, next Thursday sees the Scottish FA release the league for next season. Yes, the league that we won 12th time in 13 years. The domination of Scottish football has been absolutely fantastic over this period. And as a Celtic fan that spent many fucking thousands of pounds over the years going to watch Celtic during that period up until obviously lockdown, it was a fantastic time, and it still is a fantastic time. And people that go to the game and pay their money, fair play to them. People that moan about empty seats at Celtic Park, well, sometimes people have to work. Do Celtic need to bring in some kind of ticket exchange scheme? Yes, they do, but as it stands just now, it is against the terms and conditions for you to give away your ticket for free to another fan, which is something that we've all been speaking about for a long time, but it needs to be sorted out one way or the other. Anyway, Celtic fans eagerly waiting the SPFL fixtures to see who we get Flag Day. And talking about Flag Day and everything, just stick around to the end of the moment, because there's one team I haven't even got a stadium. Dock some points, relegate them, shot at them. Anyway, that comes out next Thursday. I think we'll do a live for that next Thursday morning. We will go live just before 9 o'clock Celtic Park time. We'll go live 9 o'clock, just before 9 o'clock Celtic Park time. So then when the fixtures do come out, we can talk about the fixtures live, and we can get some of the fixtures up on screen live first thing next Thursday. The excitement will be unbelievable. So make sure that you do join us for that live if you can. Anyway, let's get back to some more Celtic transfer news because still hasn't left the building. Obviously, Celtic are still in talk with Genk. It's been said for over a week now that has agreed personal terms and wants to get out of Celtic. I've no idea what's holding that one up, but he appears to be edging closer towards the exit door of Celtic. Maybe Celtic are holding off just to make sure that. You know what Celtic are like? They've done it with Gustav Lagerbielke. I mean, Gustav Lagerbielke last winter was on his way out the door and Celtic pulled the plug on that because Cameron Carter-Vickers. Maybe Celtic are saying, wait a minute, we can't sell until we know that we have the Adam Ida deal done, which is unfortunate for them. But maybe then it's just Celtic want to try and get as much money as possible. Celtic are going to make at least £1 million profit minimum on which is a fantastic piece of business considering he was brought in. But at 23-year-old, he's probably that age range where you think, is he going to make it as a first team regular? Is he going to be the main striker? Is he a John Hartson type of player in the making? I don't think so. And I think we've all seen that over the games that played. A lot of people will say, look, he never got enough game time. When you look at the start of the season, he definitely got as much game time as probably what Adam Ida got the second half of the season. So the fact he was knocked out of contention by Adam Ida the second half of the season says a lot to the player. And it's another player that's just going to be a journeyman, and he has deleted any content relating to Celtic on his Instagram, which is quite telling. So you kind of know that his players spat the dummy out and he's not coming back. But obviously Celtic won't release anything until it is done and dusted. So with the South Korean potentially heading out soon, the Adam Ida one taking its time because their manager wants to see him in training. What if he sees him in training and goes, you know what, he's actually a decent player, I want to keep him? Where are Celtic then? I don't want to see us. I said I didn't want this to happen. You know, Celtic are going to end up scrambling about with about 2 weeks to go. I would rather we get the players in for the start of pre-season. And I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult to get some deals done and dusted, and especially at this summer, especially when you've got a big football tournament on. A lot of people are hedging their bets and trying to get the best deal. Their agents are trying to get the best club and the most amount of money for their players. So they're casting the wide and far to teams all over the place. But anyway, when it comes to Celtic goalkeepers, we do need 2 goalkeepers. The Daniel Peretz one is an interesting one. That's one that keeps on getting spoke about, but then so does every other keeper. I'm not going to speak about keepers anymore until we know that there's a guy on the plane. There's a guy being spotted in Scotland, because when it comes to it, I mean, Celtic are still in for the Liverpool goalkeeper, but at 15 million, will Celtic spend the cash? I'm not too sure. But if they can get some kind of deal for that done, it would be good. But then there's people saying that we're going to go for a 36-year-old goalkeeper. Well, Joe Hart was 37 when he retired. Do we really want to go down that road? No, I don't think so. I think that we need to bring in a goalkeeper that's going to be with Celtic, that is going to be with Celtic for about the next 3 seasons anyway, so that we could build something and have a bit of solidness in the back. We're obviously looking for a defender also to play alongside Cameron Carter-Vickers, because let's face it, the fear of of going in with Liam Scales into the Champions League just is not really going to cut it. As good as Liam Scales is, he is an SPFL level defender. When it goes into the Champions League, can he improve much more as a player? I don't think so. Can he read the ball quick? He's got too many little mistakes in him. We do need players that are going to make us a bit better for Europe, because it's a big season for Celtic, remember. And we're going into the Champions League. We walk straight into the Champions League, yes, with that big pot of cash for the board. Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? Oh, it's exciting. They're not spending a penny, but they're like Scrooge counting the coins. And at this point, Trevor McDonald used to shuffle his papers and go, and finally, the good news story comes. The banter years continue. The banter years that have left us all in absolute stitches since 2012 with that new club, Sevco. Yes, Sevco that pretend that they are Rangers. Oh, just Rangers in the skies, yes, you are. Rangers in the skies. Anyway, Rangers have sacked a senior member of staff. They've sacked a senior member of staff because they bought materials from China or Taiwan. Maybe you just get the t-shirts made in Taiwan. Well, Rangers have been buying stuff from the Far East, and it's been held up. A bit like everything, really, that has been held up since sort of well, since Brexit and that, really, isn't it? But anyway, the things have been held up, and according to the reports yesterday, Rangers will need to decamp from Ibrox. They'll need to play their games somewhere else. Can we not just flatten it and make it an ASDA? Like what should have really happened in 2012. They should have went down the way of Third Lanark, but they were allowed not to. They were allowed not to. And that's fact. I mean, they went into liquidation. They should have went down the same way as Gretna. They should have went down the same way as Third Lanark and disappeared from forever. But they were allowed back into the leagues. They were allowed back into the leagues because the leagues shat it. The leagues shat it and said, yeah, we'll put you in at the bottom tier, which was absolutely disgusting at the time. But anyway, and some Celtic fans used to say, but we need a strong Rangers in the team. Rangers have left, have been hugely angered, it said. Well, Celtic fans are absolutely in stitches. A senior member has been sacked. The Sevco are now looking at an alternative venue. It's like a rave. It's like guys back in the 90s that are like, we've got this abandoned warehouse, man, right? It's fucking going to be banging. We're going to hear a raving there and that. But the coppers are just found out, man. We need another venue and that. Don't know what. There's a field away up the back of Erskine and we'll head out that way, right? And we'll get everybody to meet at this petrol station. But then we'll get them to go to this one phone box and we'll phone the phone box and tell everybody exactly where it is and that, you know. And then we'll meet up then and that, right? Perfect, man. Brilliant. Anyway, the Rangers are looking to find an alternative venue for the beginning of the 24-25 season. It's an incredible, messy situation, this says. Therefore, has no surprise, a staff member has lost their job due to the shambles. Well, the club is looking to improve the disabled section of the Copeland Road stand. These works shouldn't have resulted in the entire stadium being compromised by the beginning of the season. The meltdown. The meltdown at the stadium. The big goose was sailing. The big goose is crumbling down, crumbling down, crumbling down. The big goose is crumbling down over at Ibrox. Anyway, they've been left with several issues. Just a few big issues. Sellers. First and foremost, they look to lose out any home advantage in their UEFA Champions League qualifying fixtures. They're not going to make the Champions League, are they? They're going to end up playing at Brockville or something. They'll get hammed in. Anyway, we'll read the tweet that broke it. Rangers set to decamp from Ibrox for the first month of the season amid delayed upgrade works at Ibrox. Understand the board are hugely angered by the situation. A senior member of staff has lost his job as a result. The club desperately. We need the flags. Anyway, I have no idea what the works are that's getting done. I don't really care, but it's absolutely fantastic reading that the Sevco that are pretending to be Rangers are still giving us information and stuff to laugh about all these years later. Yes, ever since 2012, the club and the banter years have been going on. On that note, Felipe Clement is buying up all the has-beens and prospects of around the world. And they think they're going to be champions come May. They're not even going to hire a house come May. Anyway, on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.